Hello, welcome. Got a special video for you today. I've invited Toby, who owns a CCD PhaseOne, and we're going to compare PhaseOne CCD versus Hasselblad CCD versus M9 CCD versus M262 CMOS. And I'll do the geeky photo versus photo so you can really see a difference. Then stay with me and I'll interview Toby and see, as a professional photographer, why he's using a CCD sensor in 2024 for professional work when he could be using his Canon R5 or any other camera that's on the market. All that coming up. Hey guys, Matt here from Leica.com. So yes, coming up I'm going to quickly show you some sample photos side by side with the different cameras. Toby's is a 80 megapixel CCD back on a PhaseOne. It's a, which model is it?
It's an IQ 180 back, PhaseOne XF body, and actually there is an Hasselblad 110 f2 lens on it.
Good. This is for, so there's some dogs just out of frame. This lens is for portraits, not your professional work, because your clients want super sharp, I guess.
Exactly. This is my creative lens to do like portrait shots and like artsy, like model shoots. When I shoot for professional work, like advertisement work, I need to use like the proper Schneider-Kreuznach lenses, which delivers much sharper and crispier pictures.
Just in comparison, the H3D has got the 39 megapixel back compared to 80. This is the weight difference is crazy. I'll write it on the screen in terms of the kilos. This is about 2.2 maybe. I'm not sure if that's body only, I'll check. This feels like about 5. That's like solid metal, more like a Leica. And this is some kind of, I think, polycarbonate thing. This is much easier hand holding with an autofocus lens. This, I need to go to the gym more if I'm going to use this one one-handed. In terms of the differences, obviously I'll show you the photos, or have shown you the photos depending on where I put this in the video. Differences between PhaseOne CCD 80 megapixel versus 39 megapixels, but there's a few more differences. So in terms of price, the price difference is huge. If you use this with a Schneider autofocus lens, how much would it cost for, say, a standard autofocus lens, body, back?
Or let me do the math. The back is around 5k right now in good condition. 5k euros right now. The body, I think it's between 3 and 3.5. It belongs to the version you have, because there's 2 versions in terms of autofocus right now. And the lens, of course, it belongs to the lens. It's like Leica lenses. You can get cheap ones for like the standard lens. 80 f2 with leaf shutter is around 500 to 800 euros, and there's no limit. The 150 2.8 leaf shutter lens, I think it's almost 10,000 euros. So it belongs to the lens you use. Okay. So in total it's almost, or it's like 10,000, 10k like that. Yeah.
And this in comparison is about 1.5k. I paid about 1k-ish for the body, a bit less, and less than 1k for the lens. And they're actually quite similar setups in terms of, we've both been shooting portraits here in the Czech Republic for, this is day 4, so I'll bring up some sample photos. Toby's using a 110 f2, is it?
Yeah, it's a f2 size planar lens made for Hasselblad basically, and I think it's for Hasselblad V mount or HB mount.
It's if you're a Hasselblad fan, don't buy this lens for a standard, say 500 cm, because it's one of the lenses with no leaf shutter in the lens. So you need the bodies, the Hasselblad F classic bodies, which have got a shutter in the body itself.
Yeah, the XF body. The XF body has a normal shutter inside, so you can use lenses without leaf shutter on the XF body.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest benefit. As someone that shoots, we both shoot models, although Toby does his commercial stuff as well. The main problem I'm going to see with the Hasselblad, as someone's already pointed out in the Flickr comments, is, Matt, your photos are really nice, but now they're too perfect. So these lenses are going to give you much sharper results than using a classic lens on the PhaseOne. I can't use the classic lenses from, say, Hasselblad. You also use a Mamiya 80 1.9.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
the 81.9, the Mamiya 645 MF lens, basically, it's an awesome lens for creative shoot, so it's perfect for model shoots, and it takes out this digital look of the PhaseOne back.
If you use this back on this body with the kit autofocus lenses with a model,
Yeah.
they're gonna cry.
Yeah.
They'll need a lot of editing.
both of us cry, the models and also me, because the resolution is so high, the amount of detail is so high, that's ridiculous. So you have to do so much retouching, and every issue on the skin is visible, so the models don't like the crisp look at all. So either you shoot a vintage lens or you do a lot of retouching on the computer later. Otherwise, it's hard to impress the model with this setup. When I want to go for a softer look, I go for the Leica system like the M9 and use a vintage lens then.
Talking of the M9, in what situations would you use the M9 compared to, I think I know the answer, but this is more for you guys. In what situations would you use an M9, which is CCD, if you're new to the channel or don't know as much about Leica? When do you use the M9, which is CCD, versus when do you use the PhaseOne, which is CCD, for models in this instance?
I mean, the Leica system is much more forgiving. The base ISO here on the Leica is 160 compared to the PhaseOne. I think it's 35 or 50 ISO, base ISO. So that means you can go much higher on the M9. The lenses are more forgiving because they are not that sharp, especially when you use like vintage lenses as I do. So the whole system is lighter, faster, much easier to use compared to the PhaseOne system. So this is like the walk around system when I'm outside shooting, and this is more the system I use when I'm under control of everything.
And for clarity, Toby says the lenses are softer, but just to recap, Leica lenses can be super sharp, so there's nothing wrong with Leica lenses. It's just Toby really likes the super soft lenses. This is a very hard to find, maybe we're not sure how rare it is, but we think it's some custom military scope lens built into a Soviet sonar body. So it's sonar optics. I'll show you a close-up.
I don't use the modern crispy Apu lenses on the Leica because that doesn't go together with me, because when I want crisp, nice pictures, I go for the PhaseOne system, and I use this for the creative work, like the run and gun system, basically.
And for clarity, you also use Canon R5, and you're happy with the results-ish?
Yeah, I mean, for advertisement work, it's awesome. I mean, it's easy to use, it's super fast, so it's easy to fulfill the wishes from my clients with the Canon R system.
Okay, so to ask the question that maybe I can't answer because I've never owned a Canon, are the colours different between a Canon and a Leica? In this case, a Leica M9.
Yeah, there is a big difference in the colors between the actual CMOS sensors and the old CCD sensors, because the color rendering is so different. I mean, especially when it comes to skin tones, it's so pleasing with the CCD sensors. It doesn't matter if it's the PhaseOne or the Leica M9. It looks so like smooth and touchable. I love the colors, and even when you go through post-processing, you don't lose the nice skin tones with the CCD sensor. Compared to the CMOS sensor, the skin tones starts to get blue or greenish really fast when you do some color color grading and tweaking on Lightroom. And with the CCD sensor, this nice skin color stays.
So regardless of what everyone says, that you can get exactly the same look with a CMOS plus a preset, if you use a Mr. Leica presets or any presets, can you fake the CCD look by doing CMOS plus presets?
Until a certain amount of color grading, yes. So for example, if you have a raw picture from a CCD sensor, it's easy to tweak a CMOS picture to the raw picture of a CCD sensor. But when it becomes to further color grading, so you get more or nicer colors out of the CCD raw, and then it becomes really hard to tweak the CMOS picture until the color graded CCD picture. So that's the gap in between.
And you, just a last point on this, you describe CCD skin tones as a more of a brown look compared to, say, blues of Nikon or orangey-ish, you correct me, of Canon?
Yeah, so my experience from Canon says that the skin tones are more reddish on Canon, and if you, of course, if you reduce the Kelvin of the white balance, it becomes really bluish, of course, and really quick. And the CCD skin tone is more brownish. It's not reddish or bluish or maybe greenish. It stays brownish, and this is the charming skin tone for me, because you can change it and it doesn't get the reds and the greens or the blues in it so fast. So there is more space to tweak the picture in a CCD sensor.
So then that brings up the question, do I need CCD if I'm shooting black and white? This is where the area gets a bit more grey, because you think probably not, and you know more than me on this.
I think in the black and white, the contrast makes a little bit of difference, but to be real, my experience is not enough to say, in terms of black and white photography, to say if you can fake the CMOS contrast to the CCD contrast, and is there any difference. So I can't say too much about this because I don't have an experience in black and white photography.
So I guess it'd be down to me to do, I guess, side by side, either my Leica SL CMOS or my M262 CMOS versus CCD. And final point on CCD, which I think is an important one for Leica people, is I've always thought that Leica M9s at some point will die from corrosion, and hence I try not to recommend them that much, for the reason that for me it's like a ticking time bomb, and they're not particularly cheap now. They're still over 2k.
Yeah.
But that's not quite true, is it?
That's not true. That's not true, exactly. All the sensors which came out from the factory until 2012, I think, all used like a shot glass in IR filter in front of the sensor, which is grade 3, and grade 3 means it's not safe for corrosion.
Just stop for 1 second on that. So when you say not safe, I believe you mean that it's porous to moisture, and then that's what corrodes the sensor.
Exactly. It's just a question of time, humidity, and how you store your camera, and then it starts to corrode. Yeah.
So if you've got an original with no corrosion, you might just be lucky at this point, or maybe you live in a dry climate.
Yeah, exactly, because there is a few M9s out in the market which have still the original sensor, no corrosion, and they try to sell you the camera on the regular price, and I wouldn't go for that, because the glass, the IR filter, is not safe for corrosion at all. There is no coating on it, and there is no ingredients in the glass which saves the glass from corrosion. After Leica got known from the problem, they asked Kodak to produce a second version of the sensor, and on the second version of the sensor they used an IR filter glass from shot, which is protected from corrosion by...
So no moisture can get to the sensor.
Exactly. Go for one with ID 15 or 16, and this is safe from corrosion.
And for completeness, I know some of you are M8 fans. We love M8s too. Those came out before the M9. Those don't have the corrosion issues as far as I know, the M8 or the M8 II. The main difference is M9s are full frame, M8s are crop, 1.33 crop.
The medium format, the S system, suffer from the same problem.
I did look at the S cameras, for those of you saying, Matt, why don't you get an S medium format, like a medium format camera S instead of a Hasselblad, as I'm supposed to be Mr. Leica? The reason is these are much more affordable than the Leica medium format cameras. And I also already owned the H2, so I already owned lenses and the spare bits and bobs. So that was the reason I got this, and not the Leica S for my putting my hand up there. Not sure if you've got any other questions on CCD or any of the cameras we've covered, but let us know in the comments. And if I don't know, I'm sure I'll ask Toby, and he might be able to answer for you.
Yeah, I will have an eye on the comments, so if you have any questions, just let me know. I will answer them when it belongs to the CCD sensors.
Awesome. Thanks, Toby. And to finish, for any of you still awake, I know it's quite detailed, but I know some of you love details, some of you just want to see nice pictures. To finish, I'll share a few nice pictures. Hopefully you like them. So I'm going to share some with the H3D 39, and then I'll also share, if Toby's got time to send me a couple with the PhaseOne, and see if you can see the difference, and see if they look any different from CMOS sensor photos. All photos we're using mostly with lights. One thing to recap is max ISO on these cameras is 200 on this. I try to use 100. What's your max?
200, maybe 400 when it's a bright scenery, and ISO 1250 on the M9.
Yeah. So the M9 is better for low light. So it makes me shoot differently now. So now I'm shooting with lights a lot more. And then some of you are probably thinking, you're supposed to be Mr. Leica, but now you're using a Hasselblad. Are you going to go back to... There you go. Now I've got a Leica. Are you going to still shoot your Leica cameras? It's not so much the camera that I'm enjoying so much, although it is very nice. It's the fact that it's making me shoot differently because I'm now using flash. Once you, as anybody knows, you can shoot in nice daylight and it's all very pretty, but you can always make light better by adding additional lights. I don't know if I look any better or worse than normal, but this is a light this out of frame here. So what I'm saying is I can then hopefully apply the same lighting aspect to my Leica cameras, but just use ND filters. The main advantage of both of our medium format cameras is we can sync at 800ths of a second. Same on yours?
Yeah, when I use a leaf shutter lens, I can sync up, I think, up to 1600 of a second, but not with the vintage lenses because they have no leaf shutter inside.
Yeah. So in low light, you can get you can do the same lighting as we're doing with an M9 or an M262 or an SL or whatever, because as long as your brightness of the available light is quite low, you can use your base ISO on your M9, or say on my SL is only base ISO 50, which is pretty good, and then the max flash sync speed on the SL is 250, M cameras are 180, so that's why you use this in low light quite like your Italy body paint stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's much easier to get nice lighting in low light with kind of LED lights or stuff like that, and use this as a low light camera. And in bright sunlight or in bright light situations or with flashlight, the PhaseOne is key because leaf shutter lenses are pretty cool.
I'm sure someone always asks me, Matt, why are you now using flash instead of LED? LED are great, but the power output is lower, so you're better with an ISO of maybe a camera that does ISO 400 to 1600, say, or higher. I know most cameras go even higher now. If you shoot in low light with higher ISO, LEDs are so much easier than flash, less to carry. What you see is what you get. It's just much easier. But if you're using really low base ISOs, such as ISO 50 on this, ISO 35 on the PhaseOne, you need more light. And so for that reason, we're using Godox AD100s, Godox V1s, some modifiers. And yeah, I will try and do an ebook on lights next. I've just finished my ebook on model photography, so I can put a link to that below. Quick plug, if you're not a Patreon, you may not have seen that. It's now out. 90 pages, everything I know about model photography from the last 10 years. And it includes a few tips from Tobi.
And he worked on the ebook for the last 3 days when we traveled through Czech Republic, and I can promise you, it's worth it. It's a nice book. I had a sneak peek into the book, and it's awesome.
We're either shooting models or I'm lying on a bed editing the ebook till late into the night.
I feel sad. I feel sad for you.
With that, thanks for watching. If you lasted to the end, as always, a huge thanks to our patrons. I actually met Tobi through Patreon, and now I'm getting to hang out with him, shoot models, and play with cool cameras. So yeah, join Patreon and join us, and we'll have some fun. Thanks for watching, and
thank you for having me. And let's check out in the comments. Yeah,
I'll put Tobi's link below if you want to check out some color photos from CCD cameras. I know I mostly do black and white. See you, bye.